everybody. We'd like to welcome you into the Gardener's Corner program. We're broadcasting live today from T.G. Brooks Company in Timberlake. They've been in business since 1936, and we were here back in the spring. And here it is, fall time of the year, and we're just glad to be here at T.G. Brooks Company for the live edition of the Gardener's Corner program. We're brought to you today by, of course, T.G. Brooks Company and South Boston Memorials. I'd like to welcome the expert of the show, more or less the brains behind the operation.
Who walked in?
Mr. Carl. Man, that sun is shining bright and pretty today. Cantaloupe.
Thanks, Rob.
Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Rob. Yeah, the sun is bright and a little cooler than the last time we were here.
Yes, Mr. Bill Brooks was out here a while ago, and he pretty much said the same thing. But I said, Bill, I think the sun is shining as brightly today as it was back in the spring. But it's a beautiful time of the year. This past week we've had some cool nights, but I think it's kind of regulating out to our seasonal temperatures, and a lot of things going on in the landscape and in the garden. Even though wintertime will be here before you know it, there's a lot of things that you can do and make preparations for the upcoming planting year. And also, it's still time to do planning of certain things, and we'll get into all of that coming up in just a few minutes. Want to let you folks know that it's tuned in to WKRX and TV Channel 10, located on Channel 191 on Charter Communications. We are actually filming the show out here at T.G. Brooks, and we will play it back on Saturday morning. But also, for our listeners that maybe has a question for Carl, the way that we're going to handle it today, you can go ahead and call the radio station, and Miss Gail Fashee is going to write your question down, and she'll pass it along to Conrad Kimbrough, and then Conrad is going to ask Carl and myself the question over the air. So we'll give that a whirl and see how that works out. So if you have a question,
the number
is 336-599-0266. That's 599-0266 if you've got a question for the Gardener's Corner program. And if you've got a question that has several parts to it, we will do our best to get that situated and taken care of for you as well. But Carl, as we get started on the show today, you was just informing me about something of interest to a lot of people in this area that has always wanted to receive information about obtaining a grant, and they can get more information on that in an upcoming meeting, correct?
That's right. People call the office and asking if there are any monies available to help people get started growing specialty crops. And the RAFI organization, RAFI, which stands for Rural Advancement Foundation International, they're an organization that gets funding from, a few different sources: the North Carolina Tobacco Trust Fund Commission, the Golden Leaf Foundation, and they make monies available to people that are interested in growing specialty crops. These are monies that are gotten from the tobacco companies, and this money is used to explore alternate crops. So what they have is this year there's 16 counties across North Carolina that are eligible to receive monies, and Granville and Person counties are two of those 16 counties, and they have grants that are available up to $8,000 for individual farmers and up to $10,000 for collaborative groups. So the workshop will be held at the Person County Extension Office, located at 304 South Morgan Street, on Wednesday, November the 4th, from 7 to 8 p.m. And the RAFI staff will be there. Farmers, ag entrepreneurs, and other agricultural businesses and community-based groups are encouraged to attend. The RAFI organization is now accepting applications. You can go to their website to learn more about the program if you like. Just Google RAFI, RAFI-USA, and you can find more information. But just some more information about the upcoming meeting. This is from RAFI. They say the eligible counties for the grant program have changed from year to year. If your county isn't on the list this year, we still encourage you to learn about the program for a future year. Additionally, there are at least 4 grant programs serving farmers across North Carolina. And if you attend the workshop, you can learn about other programs that may be available to you and ask questions. And they'll provide as much information about the programs as they can. So that's kind of a short synopsis of what's available. Again, Wednesday evening, November the 4th, from 7 to 8 p.m. at the Person County Extension Office. Just come out if you're interested.
Well, you know, Carl, we have not made mention of this in quite some times, but since you're talking about grants through the RAFI association organization, I guess it would be a good time to make mention. A lot of folks know, and it's probably some of our listeners are not aware, as they travel up and down Madison Boulevard and they see the metal structure where the Person County Farmers Market is held at, that actual structure was able to be built from a grant that you applied for and received.
Right,
correct?
from RAFI, yeah. And that was the community grant. And that was a $30,000 grant that I was able to get. So since that time, the community grants have been reduced to $10,000, and then previously individual grower grants, growers could receive up to $10,000. So that's been reduced as well. So it's been reduced to $8,000 for growers and $10,000 for a community grant.
So more or less, lucky that you got in.
Yeah,
you did.
That's right.
And I know that Carl has helped out with other things of achieving grants. I know some years back he helped get a grant for the produce auction, and it's been some other things. So a lot of useful information. So if you've got a project on your farm or property that you think maybe the RAFI organization would like to help fund it, make it your plans to be at that meeting. That will be Wednesday night, November the 4th, at the Person County Cooperative Extension Service. That will be from 7 p.m. until 8 p.m. And
right,
it could be some time well spent for you, especially if you learn enough information there to obtain a grant. Carl, here at T.G. Brooks's, we've got some pretty flowers.
Yeah.
And we've got some beautiful cabbage and collard plants on the table. And so with that being said, it's still time to get some of these items in the ground and planted, correct?
Right, and especially with pansies, there's still plenty of time to get the pansies in to provide a winter color in your landscape. Pansies are kind of a unique flower because the sap in the plant is kind of like antifreeze in that it does not freeze during the winter. So these plants stay in good shape over the winter. Other things that people can be doing in the landscape right now, of course, fertilizing your cool season turf grass such as fescue. Good time to do that. Still time to get your soil samples in before the Thanksgiving deadline, before you'll get a $4 charge imposed from Thanksgiving until March of next year. Lawn fertilization, adding limestone, spraying broadleaf weeds in the lawn with broadleaf herbicides such that contain 2,4-D, the commercial products that are known as Speed Zone or Trimec. And with these broadleaf weed killers, you still have quite a bit of time to get that done, because as long as the day temperatures remain above 45 degrees, these herbicides will still work.
So you can get effects out of spraying,
right,
as long as the temperature is above 45 during the daytime, correct?
That's right.
Carl, now this is going to sound like a crazy question. When trying to identify a weed, what I know, like these flowers, the pansies and the cabbage and cauliflower are pretty much broadleaf.
That's right.
But now, if you have a plant that you may wonder, is it not a broadleaf or not? Is it any way to figure out whether it's in the broadleaf family or not?
Yeah, it's very, very simple. Broadleaf plants are dicots. They have, when they germinate from seed, they come up, they have 2 seed leaves. So they're called dicots. Monocots have 1 seed leaf. So monocots are the grasses. And so it's very easy to tell a grassy weed from a broadleaf weed, because if a plant looks like it's a grass, it probably is.
Okay. Otherwise, it would be considered a broadleaf.
Right. Now, there are some broadleaf plants that have narrow leaves like grasses, but if it produces a flower, usually it's a broadleaf weed. Although with grasses, it's going to produce a seed head at maturity, but most broadleaf plants will form flowers, and then grassy weeds look like a grass, and when we see them, they're not in flower, or generally they don't have a seed head. So that's pretty much the difference. And corn is actually in the grass family. And corn is a monocot, just like a grass is.
So even though the blades on corn is wide, it's considered not a broadleaf.
That's correct. It's in the Gramineae family.
Well, that's very interesting. Again, we are broadcasting live today from T.G. Brooks Company, located here in Timberlake. And in just a few minutes, we're going to be speaking with Bill and maybe Roy Brooks to find out about some of the things that they have geared up and going on here for fall time of the year on into the winter months. But I can tell you that if you're needing a dog house, or maybe want to build your own dog pen, they have the wire in stock. Also, they have dog kennels. If you hadn't been by T.G. Brooks Company before, when you have the opportunity, just kind of stop in. And they are kind of a convenience store, a hardware store, a feed store, a supply store, kind of all rolled up into one. And kind of icing on the cake would be they have ribeye steaks available here. You can get hand-cut ribeye steaks from here at T.G. Brooks Company. We're going to send it back to the station, and we're going to get a word on for South Boston Memorials. South Boston Memorials is one of our fine supporting sponsors here on the Gardener's Corner program. They are located on Seymour Avenue in South Boston, Virginia. We'll get a word on for South Boston Memorials, and we'll be back with more of the Gardener's Corner program here from T.G. Brooks Company in Timberlake.
South Boston Memorials, located 1439 Seymour Drive in South Boston, Virginia. They offer granite markers, monuments, and mausoleums. For more information, visit the website sobotememorials.com or call 434-572-3859. South Boston Memorials have been in business and family-owned since 1958. In-house laser etching is available at South Boston Memorials. They have over 300 granite memorials in stock. For all of your granite markers, monuments, and mausoleums, stop in and see them right there at South Boston Memorials, located 1439 Seymour Drive in South Boston, Virginia, or call them at 434-572-3859 and visit the website sobomemorials.com. That's South Boston Memorials, located 1439 Seymour Drive in South Boston.
Here we are back on the Gardener's Corner program. My name is Rob Hall. We're glad to be broadcasting live here on the Gardener's Corner program from T.G. Brooks Company right here in Timberlake. Mr. Carl Cantalupi of the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service is our resident expert. And you know, Carl, when I kind of gave the formal introduction, I don't know if I said that you are one of the agents with the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service.
Right.
But Carl divides his time between Person and Granville counties, and something that he is in the midst of right now is the Master Gardener's course, and he is teaching a class for both Person and Granville counties. Carl, things going pretty well with that?
Things are going great. Have people that ask a lot of good questions. It kind of keeps me on my toes, which is good. And they're excited to learn about the different aspects of the program. So it's going really well.
A little bit of information about the Master Gardeners program. It's no charge to take that class, but the only thing that you're asked to give in return at your completion of the course, if maybe you could go out to one of the local gardening centers or maybe organize a community beautification project. They're just kind of asking that you give some back of what you obtained from the course.
That's right.
And the last couple of years, Carl has been teaching both the Person and Granville County classes together, but this year he decided to have one class for Person County and then the other class for Granville County. So, Carl, that was a great idea. Glad that you are ready and willing to share your knowledge with anybody that has an interest to do so.
That's right, and that's what it's all about. And people that are interested in attending next year, they can give me a call in August sometime, and we'll get you put on the list, and so you can start the class next fall. The classes run from September through Thanksgiving on Wednesday, Thursdays here.
Right. Yeah. So again, we'll try to maybe start making mention of the Master Gardeners course next year in July to kind of give you a heads up, but it starts in September. Carl, if you don't mind, we're going to get Mr. Bill Brooks in here and share a little bit of information about T.G. Brooks Company, some of the things that they have. And I'd like to welcome right here Mr. Bill Brooks. We're going to kind of do a transition, and it's nothing like live radio. Mr. Bill Brooks, good morning, my friend. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Rob. I'm doing very well on this beautiful autumn morning. We're certainly happy to have you again for the second time this year, and it's been just a pleasure to the Gardener's Corner to be here, and we really enjoy what you do for the county.
Well, we appreciate what you all do for the county and the surrounding area, and I know right here where you're located, you get a lot of business from Person, Granville, Durham, and Orange counties. But, I had said a little while ago, you all really at this one location in more or less what I'm trying to say is you all serve a lot of different needs of people. If people need plumbing supplies, go to T.G. Brooks Company. If you need parts for your Taylor outside wood furnace, go to T.G. Brooks Company. If you want a hand-cut ribeye, go to T.G. Brooks Company. If you want fresh vegetable garden plants, go to T.G. Brooks Company. And Bill, the list just kind of goes on and on.
Well, we've tried to be a little bit of wear a lot of hats in this area for a long time to keep people from having to travel far for the products. And this community and this county and the surrounding counties have been great to us over the years. I mean, Roy and I are third generation here. We go back a long time. My grandfather, my father, and Roy and I have been here, and we just appreciate what this county and these people have done for us. And we try to provide really quality services and have good products for them to get. I tell everybody on a beautiful day like today, it's just wonderful when you wake up in the morning, you're in Person County. That means a lot right there.
Absolutely, it does that. Bill, now, when we were back here in the spring, across the road here at one of your buildings, I had noticed someone loading up something that I had never seen before, and I ended up asking you about it. But it was like a roll of, I'm going to call it straw, to where when you plant grass and everything, instead of buying bales of straw to shake out over your fresh planted grass, or newly planted grass, I should say, you all have a product that you just kind of unroll it like carpet, and it does the same job, correct?
It's a unique product that was actually marketed primarily for the construction industry and for highly erosion control projects and ditches and waterways, because you staple it down, it doesn't wash. It's so affordable that we're actually selling quite a bit of it to put on the lawn itself in replace of the straw and staple down with a staple. I think they're about 112 feet by 7.5 feet wide, and they do a great job, and it's just another innovative way of doing some things we've always done, just in a different way. So it's a great product. We sell quite a bit of that.
Well, that was something that I didn't have any idea was even available until we were here back in the spring. And Bill, the holidays will be here. Here it is, October 23rd, and next month Thanksgiving will be here, and then the following month Christmas will be here. And we always look forward to the month of December when we hear you and Roy talking about the top 10 gift giving ideas that can be found here at T.G. Brooks Company. And one of the things that always rates near the top is the country hams. Now, y'all will be receiving those country hams in the very near future, correct?
That's correct, Rob. We have them on order, and they should be in here in the next few weeks. We try not to get them quite as early as we used to, because we like to have them just as fresh and ready for the tables we can get them. And we've got a good supply coming, and they will be here, and they're always, as in the past, great. They're great gifts. They're just fine for family gatherings, and we'll have them from right before Thanksgiving on to Christmas. We have plenty of them.
Well, now, Bill, if anyone should purchase a country ham from here, you all can pass along advice on the best way to cook them and prepare them, correct?
We can help you with that, to some of the old ways of done this that we've been told and used for years. I'm hearing all-time creative ways of doing it that I didn't know you could do, such as cooking them on the grill and stuff like that. And I'm sure there's so many other ways, but we can do that. And a country ham is a very forgiving item to cook. You can cook it many different ways, and most of the time it turns out just fine.
It does, Matt.
Yeah.
Well, now, I know one of the old-fashioned ways a lot of people in this area used to cook them was in a lard can.
Oh, yes.
And cook it so long, and then you wrap it up in a bed quilt and leave it so many hours and things. If someone wanted to do that, would you have a lard stand or a lard can that they could get?
We do have the lard cans in stock, and they work for that, as well as any big pot can do the same principle, the same thing. And the method of cooking it and then wrapping up still, to me, is my favorite way, because I just happen to think it cooks a little bit of the salt out of it. Plus, I think the ham itself is just tenderer that way. But I'll have to admit, I don't think I've ever had or met a country ham I really didn't like. So, anyway, it's fine. It's whatever your preference is, and
Whether you buy one to cook it in a big pot or a large can, or have it sliced or fried, you can't go wrong.
That's right. You can cook it any meal of the day, and you can't go wrong. You sure can. And we'll be prepared for that, and look forward to the Christmas season and Thanksgiving season, which is upon us, no question.
Absolutely. Well, Bill, I know years ago you all used to grind sausage here at the store, but you don't do that anymore.
No, we don't.
But do you offer any kind of supplies for hog killing, like seasoning or anything like that?
We carry the seasoning for sausage, and we also carry some of the, the old-fashioned, what I call the old-fashioned old hickory butcher knives for the hog season, and we carry the meat salt, which is mostly now it's 50-pound bags where you salt down the ham. If you want to salt one down yourself, we carry the meat salt, which is still something we've always carried over the years. And of course, as we talked about, the lard can, where if you happen to want to boil it down and make lard, we do have the can for that. That's what that can is actually named for. So
yeah, go ahead and take that cook your lard down and save those cracklings and make some crackling cornbread. Now that's some kind of good. I hadn't had any crackling cornbread.
No, I agree with you on that, Rob. You can't beat crackling cornbread. That's just about getting to be a lost art. It's hard to find many people that cook the cracklings down anymore.
Exactly right. Well, Bill, a couple of questions. See, you've got some beautiful pansies, and you also have some cabbage and collard plants left.
We do. We're right on the last. I told David we are right on the last run of all our plants, and we still have some beautiful ones, and it's probably going to be about the last run of the plants for the year. We continue, and it's a great time to plant them. Is just a matter of it. We sold more early than we normally do, but we still got some. It's a good time, and they will survive the frost. They'll go through the winter.
Well, several weeks ago, my mother came by and picked up a flat of the collard plants, and we've got those planted, and they're looking really good. And then a few weeks after that, my dad came by and got some of the cabbage and broccoli plants, and we've got those planted, and they're looking really good. And Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, it's definitely the time for, the collards. So if you come on to T.G. Brooks Company and get you some of these cabbage and collard plants, get them planted, you can have something to enjoy for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's.
Absolutely. And it's kind of odd to me that as a child growing up here in my younger days, all the greens were considered to me old-fashioned country cooking, and a lot of kids didn't like them probably. But now most of you, particularly kale and any of your greens, are considered in the superfood group. They're really gotten fashionable and trendy, and they're great. And at this point, they're just good for you. So you get both out of that, I think.
Well, Bill, something else that you carry here, you carry the Owl Pride pimento cheese, and y'all have been carrying that, and that's made right here in Roxborough and Person County.
Sure is. Local product.
Also get you hand-cut ribeye steaks. Last time we were here back in the spring, Roy brought out a carpenter bee trap. Have you got any other unique things that has came on the market that you may have?
It's going to be hard to top that one, because I think when he brought that out, we sold every one we had in the store that day.
Wow.
And that was just a great thing, and I can't recall anything that immediately impacted like that day, but it was a need for it because there was such a infestation of carpenter bees. But I can't think of anything right off that would be unique right now that we would have. We have a lot of products that I consider to be unusual, but just for food of thought, I just unloaded a book shipment this past week of snow sleds, so we're gearing up for the winter season, and we've got them. Hopefully not something we'll need immediately.
Well, I was going to ask, what is your prediction of winter, Bill?
Just what I'm seeing and hearing, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to predict a mild winter. We've had a couple of moderately severe winters, I think, with quite a bit of precipitation. I think we possibly are in line. And I know some of the weather trends say I'm wrong, but I go on my gut instinct, and I'm going to predict that Person County and this end of North Carolina is going to have a mild winter this year. And believe me, I'm all for it.
Amen to that, brother. Well, Bill, appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule here and sharing some of the fine news with us about things that you all offer here at T.G. Brooks Company. Along with all the things we mentioned, you can also get Sunoco gasoline.
Absolutely, right here. Tried and true, and we have a new alliance with Sunoco, and we're just proud to be a part of their team.
Well, we're going to turn it back over to the station, and we'll get a word on for T.G. Brooks Company, and we'll be back with more of the Gardener's Corner program live from T.G. Brooks Company in Timberlake.
Hey, the leaves are falling. It's October. Fall season is upon us. Warmer days, cooler nights. T.G. Brooks Company has your pansies, too, for fall beauty. It's still time to plant your turnip seed and also your kale, mustard, collards. And more importantly, it's time to sow the yard and do fall planting. There is no better time of the year to reseed and refeed your lawn. T.G. Brooks Company has plenty of advice and plenty of supplies, too. Enrich your lawn and your yard with lime, fertilizer, grass seed, including the new Top Choice Turf Grass Seed for greener and plush lawns. Many people have been to T.G. Brooks and picked up or had delivered beautiful mulch, including some of the triple ground mulch, and they have mulch in several colors. It is also time to do some raking. Get your lawn rakes and your tools to do the work. No matter if you are the individual homeowner or you are the professional landscaper, T.G. Brooks Company gives the same courteous attention to everybody. Fall and this time of the year, also the time to check over your stovepipe needs and fitting needs. Also, they have your replacement parts for Taylor wood stoves like blowers, anode rods, rust inhibitors, chemicals, and pumps. Next month, we'll be celebrating Thanksgiving. Keep in mind, T.G. Brooks Company will have your Thanksgiving delicious, famous T.G. Brooks Country Ham. So plan now to put that on your shopping list for later on. From cast iron cookware to case pocket knives, from grocery needs to plumbing supplies to electrical supplies, they have it and have plenty of advice, especially for your lawn and garden. Don't forget to pick up hand-cut ribeyes. Take them home and pop them on the grill after a hard day's work in the yard. T.G. Brooks Company, thanking you for your business and looking forward to serving you. Phone 364-2428.
Here we are back on the Gardener's Corner program, broadcasting live from T.G. Brooks Company here in Timberlake. Mr. Carl Cantalupi of the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service, our resident expert. My name is Rob Hall. Glad to have you tuned in. And again, we'd love for you to come by T.G. Brooks Company. If you've never been out here, it'd be a great day for you to take about 10 or 15 minutes to just kind of browse through the store and see some of the numerous items that they stock. And you'll find a lot of things here that you won't be able to find at just your typical convenience store or many other places. You won't be able to find it other than T.G. Brooks Company. Carl, a question for you. I had made mention talking to Bill a little while ago. We've got about 40 or so collard plants planted in a flat bed. Well, should we work dirt up to the collard plant, or is it okay just the way it is when we planted it?
It should be okay just to leave it as is. I don't know of any advantage of mounding up soil around the plants.
Okay. So same way with the cabbage and broccoli.
Yeah, it should be fine without needing to do that. Of course, the plants can take the temperatures down to 26 degrees with no problem. If it gets colder, you're going to get you probably will get some injury. I guess in those cases, it would probably help.
Right.
Just to insulate the plants and then pull the soil back later.
Right. Okay.
Or if you wanted to put mulch around them of some kind, or leaves, or anything like that.
Would help some.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, Carl, with that being said, and I know you had said earlier about the pansies have like almost
A super cooling effect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the question, I've heard a lot of people say that collards seem to taste better after they have been bitten by the frost.
Mm-hmm, that's
and
true.
I have known some people to cut the collards and just stick them in the deep freezer for just a few days before preparing them, and they say that kind of has the same effect on them as being frostbitten.
Mm-hmm.
But my question to you is, can you kind of explain what happens after the collard is exposed to frost or colder weather?
Well, the cells, of course, rupture. The cells break down. And so I guess something happens that we get, it also forms, the sugars form, I guess, better and they get sweeter. Something that happens in the cell sap, and I guess we can get some changes into sugar. But the thing to remember after that's done, and then you take them out of the freezer or after the frost, you really need to use them right away.
Okay.
Because they're not going to have any shelf life,
Okay.
once they've been frozen.
Okay.
Yeah. As with most plants, except again the pansies, But the plants sweeten up through some process that the plants undergo, but then be sure that you use them right away after you thaw them out.
Well, now, Carl, you had said that you wanted to talk about a topic that I am completely at a loss.
Okay.
And the topic is energy conservation in the landscape.
Yeah, in the home landscape. We're really energy conscious today. It seems like we talk about more and more as far as anything that you can do to reduce pesticide applications and other things. First, when we talk about pesticides, the first thing to remember, I guess, don't apply a product if you don't have a problem. So, if you think you have a problem, the best thing to do is to get it identified first. Is it an insect problem? Is it a disease problem? Or is it neither? Is it something else? That's why identification is so important. So, scouting your plants, if you identify a problem like an insect, make sure that you identify the insect first, and then you'll know how to control it best. For example, if you have some white grubs in the lawn, a few of them are normal, and it doesn't automatically mean you need to
Call out the troops.
That's right. Right. So do some scouting and treat areas that look like they have more of an infestation than others. In the garden, handpick or remove caterpillars or bug from a plant if possible. This saves the energy, to having to drive and pick up pesticide. Lower your expectations of perfection, and this is a good one. Plants were never expected to be totally free of insects. Plants and insects keep each other going and try to eliminate either one is fighting Mother Nature. Taking the pleasure of finding out what the insect is that is munching on the plant and learn something about it. So plants can tolerate a lot of, they can tolerate, a slight amount of insects. If you get to a case where you do need to apply a pesticide, that's all well and good. Other things you can do, reuse or recycle all those pots in plant pots in your garage. Reintroduce yourself to the rake instead of using the leaf blower. It might
and your neighbors would appreciate that, I'm sure.
Right, and it even might help with with the diet too. Stop mowing your grass too often and too short. Many people cut their grass much too short, which hurts it in a drought and helps the weeds outcompete the grass. Very, very important. Compost your organic matter. Sending it out in the truck to the landfill uses more fuel. Besides the obvious that it helps the soil makeup, more natural soils are healthier, and there's new research that suggests that plants grow better and are able to resist insect attacks. So recycle your mulch, use compost, and even going to the store or seeing what you can find, maybe some items you you can find used.
So more or less, it helps you become more self-sufficient.
That's
in a way.
right. That's right. Yeah.
Well, Carl, I didn't have any idea when you wanted to talk about energy conservation in the home landscape, but I have a better understanding, and you brought up a lot of great points. You certainly did,
Well,
and
thanks.
anyway, Carl, I guess that's why you make the big bucks, because of the knowledge you obtain. I see that Mr. Roy Brooks is close by. We're going to get Roy on and chit-chat with him just a little bit. T.G. Brooks Company has been doing business with the radio station a great number of years. They have been a big supporter of the Gardener's Corner program for a long, long time, and we're very appreciative of it. And here with me right now is Mr. Roy Brooks. Good morning, Roy.
Good morning, Rob.
Now, who is responsible for ordering this beautiful sunshiny day, you or Bill, for us to be out here with the Gardener's Corner program today?
Neither one of us. Dave Bratcher gets all the credit.
Dave Bratcher, well, he needs a big old pat on the back,
doesn't he?
because it is a beautiful day.
It is.
Roy, first of all, I want to tell you, appreciate you all doing business with us here at the radio station, and you all are not only a business, you are a landmark here in Timberlake, been here since 36, and we was talking with Bill a little while ago about some of the unique things that you all carry and some of the things that you all specialize in, but it's really hard to say in one sentence everything that you all do here at T.G. Brooks Company, because you all cover such a wide gamut of different needs and wants to this area. And one thing that I was going to ask Bill, but I did not get around to, but I'll pose this question to you. I know that you all carry the Taylor outside wood furnace parts. Are you limited to the amount of parts that you can get for it, or can you get pretty much anything for the Taylor wood stoves?
Well, Rob, I'm glad you asked. We're very fortunate. Taylor has been good to us, and I can get any part that is made for a Taylor wood stove. Their staff down there has been very helpful with us. I have happened to have owned a Taylor wood stove for about 30 years, so that's how we roundabout got into the business of selling parts. So, yes, it all makes sense, and Taylor's been very good to us. We can buy any part. We stock probably 50% of the parts, and we stock the ones that are commonly used. I don't know of any specialty part that I have not had in stock at some point in the last 12 months.
Right. Well, Bill, with you being the owner of a Taylor wood stove, I'm sure you have great knowledge. And then a lot of times, if somebody's having problems with their Taylor wood stove, if they come in and talk to you, you can maybe give us some ideas of maybe what the problem could be. And a lot of times, not only does people need a certain part or a certain piece of something, they need some knowledge to go along with that to help them out, whether it's figuring out if that's exactly what the problem is, or whether it's a certain way that it has to be installed. And with every purchase that is made here at T.G. Brooks Company, you get great service. Now, they don't talk you to death, but if you have a question about something, you all gladly answer it, correct?
Yes, sir, Rob. I always like to discuss the problem and understand it wholly. That way we can make a better recommendation.
Well, now, here it is, this fall time of the year. Winter will be here. Any suggestions of some things that people could come by T.G. Brooks Company and find things that would make their fall and winter much more enjoyable?
Well, first of all, if you haven't put out your first application of fertilizer on your cool season grass, you should be doing it now. If you put it out early, you should consider now pretty soon. Normally in November we put a second app of fertilizer out on cool season grass. Very hard very hard summer we had on grass this year, so it needs to be fed. Fertilizer always makes it grow good, and you always need to take particular interest to your lime. Liming is so important, and it's a great time to do that. You can lime most any time, but if you're looking at your vegetable garden, the lime needs to be put out this fall for next year. Lime is not an instant gratification like fertilizer, so I would like to see everybody to consider liming their gardens now and their yards, and let's fix everything up and make it look good.
And get it ready for the next growing season. All right, I asked Bill this question. I'm going to ask you your opinion. What is your outlook of winter on what kind of winter you think we're going to maybe have this year?
Well, my idea would be to say the exact opposite as Bill, and that way one of us would be right. So if Bill said it was going to be warm, I'm going to say it's going to be cool.
Well, you know, I've heard a lot of people say that they've looked at the seed in a persimmon, and they say that the persimmon is predicting a hard winter. I just don't know, but I guess we'll deal with it the best way that we can. But and this is only my opinion. If we don't get any snow or ice, it won't bother me at all. But
I agree with you, Rob, but you know, we're very, very fortunate to live where we do. We get 4 seasons, we get a change in the weather, and it does get hot and it does get cold, but you know, on the whole, Person County is just a great place to live, and we're so fortunate to be able to live here.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I sure do. But should we get any snow and ice, you all always have ice melt in stock. And now, you all are open. What are y'all's business hours, Roy?
We're open from 7 to 7, Monday through Friday, and from 7 to 5 on Saturday. And that way we can load bulk products from those hours, and we have the store open, of course, too. And we're very fortunate now. We have the Sunoco gas, and Sunoco gas is available most all the time.
Well, you know, now when you say available most all the time, meaning pay at the pump can get it $7.24?
That's correct. Pay at the pump can.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
of course,
is really
we're not
nice.
inside for the cash at that point, but as most people understand, debit and credit cards are very prolific in gas purchasing, and it's just an easy way for the customer to use it.
It is, and I personally love that pay at the pump, you know. Of course, I know paying at the pump kind of cuts down on the inside store business, because most of the time when people go inside to pay for the gasoline, they'll make a purchase of something else, but it's very convenient to be able to pay at the pump. Well, Roy, thanks for your time. Thanks for having us out. Appreciate the business again you all send us at the radio station, and I would love to tell you that I would like to be here when y'all celebrate your 136th anniversary. But if I'm lucky enough, I might be retired. But even if I am, I may come out here when y'all have the 100-year celebration.
Sounds good, Rob. I hope you're sitting right there doing the same thing. It's kind of ironic that you ask that. I was just asking Dave how long he had been back here operating the radio station, and I think it's about 23 years. And we in Person County sure are appreciative of the radio station.
Absolutely.
It has been a wonderful asset for us to have.
The station is a small station, but it caters to as many different people as we possibly can. And I'm sure if Dave Bratcher came up with an idea that we could cater to more people than we already do, we certainly would. But again, appreciate y'all having us out, and when we're here, we feel like we're at home.
Thank you, and it's always great to have Rob.
All right. Thank you, Roy. Thank you. We're going to get Mr. Carl Cantalupi back on, and we've got just about maybe 3 or 4 more minutes, Carl. And while I was talking to Roy, I thought of a topic that you had said that you would maybe like to make mention of.
Right.
About maybe planting trees and shrubbery.
Right. Now's a great time to plant trees and shrubs. Get them in the ground. Let them start to grow to initiate a good root system, and they'll have a head start on growth next year. People always ask, of course, once the leaves start to fall, out come the pruning shears. The best time to prune certain trees and shrubs, most plants late February, early March, but we are coming into November and in December. The trees such as elms, birches, maples, and dogwoods, these have a tendency to bleed sap if we prune these in the spring. So with these trees, it's okay to prune those in mid-December. Elms, birches, maples, and dogwoods. These, again, are what we call the bleeders, and we can go ahead and prune those in mid-December. But for all other plants, it's good to wait until the spring or when new growth starts, so that when the growth comes out, the new growth will quickly fill the cut surfaces. And it's not a good idea to prune other plants too early. You get winter injury on what you leave behind, and then you have to look at dead stubs all winter, which still I cannot figure out why people like to do that.
Yeah, a lot of people do that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Carl, another question that you've talked about in the past, and it's something that I'm always kind of interesting to hear you explain it, about how you have said that no matter how cold it may be, that the ground never gets any colder than 32 degrees.
That's right.
So if you would explain that, please.
Well, that's true. If that weren't true, then all the roots on trees would die. But soil has a great insulating property, and then as air temperatures get colder, the soil just freezes at a deeper depth. So, and this is why as you go north, you have, what they call the frost line is deeper. It just freezes deeper at that 32 degrees. It doesn't get any colder the deeper you go. It just freezes deeper. Now, if you have cracks in the soil and air can get down through those cracks, then it's going to be colder than 32. But if you have a solid covering of soil, this is good. And even if we have snow cover during the winter, people think, oh, that's going to hurt plants, snow cover. No, it's actually the opposite is true. Snow has a great insulating property, so as long as the snow is there, anything that's underneath it is going to be protected from cold.
Okay. Well, some great information, and Carl, thank you again for sharing the knowledge that you do with us on a weekly basis.
Glad to do it.
On the Gardener's Corner program. Thanks goes out to our fine supporting sponsors, South Boston Memorials and T.G. Brooks Company, and we want to say a special thanks to all the fine staff out here from T.G. Brooks Company for having us out. And it's always amazing the passerbys come by
you never know
and get our attention. So, but we're glad to be here, and again, thanks for tuning in to this live edition of the Gardener's Corner program right here from T.G. Brooks Company, downtown Timberlake. Want to wish you and yours a happy and safe weekend, and we look forward to seeing you next week on another edition of the Gardener's Corner program.